Hi, everybody. We're back. We took a little break, catching up on things, retuning. But we're back again with Brenda, again, our special guest. Appreciate having her for number 55. So, anyway, we spent 54 a lot about relationships and stuff. And so, a question that came to my mind was about, the relationship you had with your dad, and you explained it in the prior episode. My question is, hypothetically, is if your relationship with your dad had been different in some respect or more than some, but in substance, how do you think that would have affected your life differently?
Well,
growing up or who you are today?
This is what I think my children would have been able to have a grandparent on either side and have visibility to another grandparent. I mean, Sarah was Brenda's mom was outstanding, and then they had the cousins and stuff like that. But I didn't. I had to learn that the relationship was not going to be any different than what it is, and because my dad had his issues, and when my mother and father got divorced, each one went their separate ways, and and my mother was not, they just couldn't get together. And that kind of, not like Brenda and I, where we had we had priorities with children, and like I said, think about this. I was all city athlete, and neither one of my parents ever saw me play high school football, basketball, or baseball. Okay, what back in those times, you couldn't get off work at 3:00 in the afternoon. So I understood that. But as I got become an adult, we went to the state meet. Remember when we went to the state meet, and then when I think one game was we played up in Sacramento. I think we played in Sacramento, and he came to the game.
Your father did?
Yeah, yeah. But he saw me play. He saw me play one college game.
Yeah, you mentioned.
Yeah, which was fine. And then but he was a kind of a to himself kind of guy.
Yeah, right.
And he was doing his thing. And he had some issues. He had some major issues.
Well, what kind of relationship did he have with your girls? I mean,
no. They knew who he was, but neither one of my parents were embracing. They didn't call to say hi to grandkids. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah. But there's one highlight of the girl's life is that it was Grandpa Day at an elementary school. And he did come to Grandpa Day, and they have pictures of that, and they were proud of that moment that he was available to come to Grandpa's Day.
Well, that's great. Yeah, that's a good memory for them.
Oh no, that's to the day.
Yeah, if you bring that up, that must have been very important.
And there's pictures of it in the whole 9 yards.
Oh,
so,
good. Yeah. Okay, did you were aware of that too?
Yeah. But think about this, Larry. You see your grandkids when? You catch the difference?
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to compare it all that.
No, I'm talking about the premise.
The premise different. If they had been different, how that would be.
Okay, same thing that you would have been able to go through the same thing you're going through as a grandparent. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, there's varying degrees. I mean, yeah, we spend a lot of time with our grandkids because
okay. I want you to understand what I'm saying. Okay, but I would have been able to have them in their lives. Right. Okay, so they would have to be able to. We could be able to plan situations and things to see them, but they were not those kind of people. My mother or my father.
So how does that make you feel? I mean, is there?
Well, it's
regret about that?
It's a void. It's a void. It's a void. And it's not something that I dwell on.
Of course not.
It's a part of my life that I had to work through, and it's not something that my children, and this is why I did the Olympic thing, so that they would have that information about their grandfather and stuff like that. But it didn't help. It didn't help that my mother was an acute paranoid schizophrenic. And that didn't help situations, but
Of course not.
But for me, the balance was I had my Aunt Willie.
Yeah.
Okay, and we talked.
Somebody filled that void.
We talked every day.
That
Oh yeah, we talked every day. And when I became an adult, we talked every day until she passed away.
And your dad had a good relationship with you girls on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was proud of his granddaughters, and there's matter of fact, one of my favorite pictures or episodes that happened is when we're in the garage. A lot of things happened in Camille's garage, and so my dad was sitting in his big chair, and Kimberly was like 1 year old, barely walking and stuff like that, and he went out like that, and she ran over and got into his lap, and at that point he could have died and gone to heaven at that point because of that. She just knew that was the grandpa, and she was comfortable with it and stuff like that. And to this day, Alton's dad coming to grandparents' day at school is one of the absolute highlights. And they got pictures of it and stuff like that. He just happened to have been down.
Yeah.
And they did that.
I was fortunate. Yeah.
Yeah. And, so there's, it's not like an everyday interactive life, but they knew that they had grandparents on both sides and stuff like that.
If there's something one thing I can say about you, both of my parents, if there was something that I needed them to be able to do for the grandkids, they would have made arrangements for that. But no, it's something that I learned to live through, and it's just like when I deal with my granddaughter. She's 31 years old. 32
Wow.
years. But like I would tell her, okay, this is what I would tell her. I'm not your father. You have a father, and you have to, whatever he's going through, you have to deal with him. Okay, I can't interfere and guide, the boundaries. You know what I'm saying?
Can you talk about that now? About your current relationship with her?
He doesn't exist.
Because I just remember her when she was living with you over there in Anaheim.
Yes,
You were helping her. Matter of fact, I think it was like she was at Los Amigos High School.
Yeah. I matter of fact,
became aware of her and her relationship.
Yeah, but she has a mother and a father who are her parents, and up until about 3 years ago, she would come over and clean up, and now
Here.
yeah, and then she graduated from Long Beach in kinesiology, but
Is she working in that field?
I have no idea. I mean, she didn't even take advantage of Brenda being a trainer, because she was actually going to go to the master's program. But what you get, her mother is still illegal, and her mother exudes a whole lot of influence on her. Then she has my son, who is homeless, and he puts a lot of pressure on her. Take care of me. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm their father.
Another complicated relationship in her life.
Yeah. And so, when I step back, she doesn't even call her aunts. You know what I'm saying? She
No relationship with
no
girls.
the girls, and
Do they try to reach out to her?
they try.
They're available, but
They're available, but she doesn't reach out.
do you anticipate that changing?
No.
Never.
No.
When it comes to a need,
No.
something happens to her father or mother.
The key figure in the relationship is between her and Alton.
That's the connection.
That's the connection. If her and Alton had a better relationship, her nieces and her aunts would. I mean, we tried.
Yeah.
And she was in kinesiology, and she was doing this and she's doing that. And I was trying to tell her, I says, well, hopefully lets me do the XYZ. I said, aren't you in a program I was in the radiology program, I was in the X-ray program.
Right.
Orange Coast College set up our internship.
Yeah.
So we go to the internship and we get what we need, and then we go ahead and get a job. You know what I mean? And I said, doesn't your school set up your internship? You're over here working free for a chiropractor. That's not in your program. And I tried to tell her, I says, this is not how this works. You're hoping to get a back office job. I says, why don't you hope to get a job as a chiropractor, and go to the proper school, do the proper things. And she just.
But you
So Long Beach didn't help her with that?
no.
Well, they probably did.
She graduated and she was ready to go into the next program. But you gotta understand something. You in Cubby, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you talk about the sphere of influence? You remember
Well, yeah. It's like a circle of people.
Okay, there's a sphere
Or
okay,
network, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Pay attention to what I'm getting ready to say. Within the sphere of influence, there's one person or there's somebody who influences you. Okay, and if it's not me, you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm not the one that in her sphere of influence, it's the mother and her father who influence her.
Even at 32.
Yeah, she's their children, just like my children. My children are 50, 55, 54, and I have to step back.
I was going to say, what's your sphere, both of your spheres of influence with your girls?
They're all educated in the field of their desire.
Yeah.
And they're all thriving in that field of their desire. They have their master's degree and they're doing what they wanted to do all along.
Yeah.
So in terms of influence, I get phone calls from
We both get phone calls.
all the time with what so and so did on the job, which is routine stuff. This, stuff. I don't know if they're looking for advice more so than just having somebody to talk to.
They have a relationship.
Yeah.
They love.
I'm going to answer your question, okay? Is that when they call me, I listen.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't offer any stuff. If they ask me a specific question, I give them examples of situations like we do to students. Okay, but this is what I'm talking about. The key thing is that they talk to each other more about situations that they're going through, and they help each other out that way.
But they know they have both of you that they can call.
Yeah. There's not an issue there.
The deal is that they learn they self-sufficient enough to learn how to work through processes. Like my daughter Kimberly, she called the other day. She says that she had to go to her best friends and her best friend's funeral. Now they're Muslims, or they're not of the religion that she's in. So she was calling me. Dude, what should I said? No. When in Rome, do what the Romans do. I said, you keep your religion. That your man is Jesus Christ. They can have this, but you keep your religion, but you still pay proper respect.
Yeah.
And so she.
So that's kind of what she was looking for, a little reassurance.
Yes, I got into procession. I said, well, that's good. We went to the gravesite, but they didn't do it. I said, that's fine. I said, this is how they do their.
That's what we do.
This is how they do their thing, and so on and so forth. I said, so you being there meant more than a whole lot of people getting up there talking.
Yeah.
You being there. So
being there.
Understand that, you and Gert talk every day. That's it. I said, but you just being there, supporting her and the family, that's what you do.
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah, good.
And so she it's not.
Like I said, we have dialogue with them on a regular basis. Marcella called me usually on a Thursday. She calls me on a Thursday on the way to send them out to City College. We talk while she's driving the 405, and then Terry will call me on Monday. But you have to. The thing that I had to learn, especially when Brenda and I got divorced, was that I had to let go of my children.
Yeah.
I had to. They whatever they have been taught, they had to learn the little situations in life that all the bumps and blah blah blah. And so we were blessed that they didn't have a whole lot of issues.
Well, going back to what Brenda was saying about her intention of keeping you in their lives, and how hard you were going to work at doing that, and that was your commitment. That's what was important, is that they, you didn't.
No. What I'm saying is that
that was important. Though.
Yeah, that was important.
That was important.
But but you got to listen to what I'm saying. Okay, I'm saying that by me having to let go, okay, I'm saying that they were trained well enough to go through the adult life. Like Brenda was saying, they were able to process things that were going on, and if there was something critical, they would talk to us.
I mean,
okay.
Even now,
they had the security.
Yeah, there you go. That's the key.
they had the security of knowing their mother and their father had their best interests at heart.
Yes.
So they would call and probably ask me a situation.
Yeah.
And call and ask him the same
thing.
situation.
Yeah.
Just to get the perspective, and they respected the answers.
Yeah.
You understand?
As recent as Kimberly going to this.
Yeah. Because, just to piggyback on that, she called me, and what we talked about was basically the same thing. But as a parent, when she mentioned that the St. Louis is like Cabrini Greens, and I said, okay, so if you're in that type of situation, just make sure you get to the hotel before it gets dark. Okay, because she went through a situation when she was in college. She went to, you ever heard of Cabrini Greens? Okay, it's the most at that time, the most notorious housing project in the nation.
Near St. Louis.
No, it was in Chicago.
Oh, Chicago.
Yeah.
She was on spring break, and instead of coming home on spring break, she was going to go on a road trip with her friends. But the only problem with the road trip with the friends, they really didn't take care of the little freshman that was over here, or whatever she was. So she was like stuck in a hotel room. She called me up. She said, "Mom, I'm in this hotel room." I says, "Okay." She says, "There's noise outside." I said, "Well, close the."
She went to the house.
I said, "Close." I said, "Close the door. Close the window." They don't have any windows. I said, "Where are you?" Where are you?
When Brenda called me and said she was at Blood, I said, "Oh my gosh, yeah."
Yeah, and so I had told my mom at the time was still alive, and she says, "Well, my friend Eloise, whatever her name was, lives in that area. Have Kim call her, or whatever." So Kim called her, and so on and so forth. Then I says, "Okay, Kim, you have the emergency credit card." I gave her American Express as the emergency credit card. I said, "Take your emergency credit card, go and rent your hotel room."
Yeah.
And so we called the contact to see what's a good hotel that she could do around that area. And so they gave her the information. So she went down there. I said, "And you can invite your friends to stay in your hotel room with you because it's too bad, whatever." And they snubbed her. "Oh, our hospitality isn't good enough," and stuff like that. I says, "Go down there and get you a good breakfast and lunch and dinner. Use the emergency credit card, and take care of what you got to take care of." Which she did.
To continue that is when they were going back to Louisiana, and then she said, "Dad, we're getting ready to stop in Mississippi." And I said, No, you tell them that your father says you ain't stopping in Mississippi. Keep on going." I mean, but what I'm saying is that you, as a parent, sometimes you have to, you know what I'm saying. You have to. There's some things you get, no matter what you feel, no matter how you feel. It's just like what my aunt taught me about my dad, because I wanted to bring him up and live with me when I realized he was sick, and she said to me, she says, "Is it something that Willie wants to do, or is it something that you want?"
Yeah.
Okay, and I had to say, "No, it's something I want." And so I had to think about that. I had to think about the other person. Okay, because even though my children are grown, I cannot interfere in their lives.
Right.
Okay,
but you're there for them.
If they need something, sure, I'm going to be there.
The whole deal with them being adults now, which is perfectly fine, is the foundation was laid to be able to thank this way or think that way. And they're decent, they're good kids. They're good
They go to
children.
church.
I mean, they're rooted.
Yeah.
They have foundation. So when they get into a situation like that, like they got into, then they can manage it. Because they have.
That's what you really want, right?
And stuff like that. So,
and the good thing about it is that the three girls talk to each other.
Yeah.
And so usually when we get asked a question, they've already gone through with each other. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, what we've been talking about in relationships is their relationship. The three of them have a really good foundation as far as their relationship.
Yeah.
Things they've experienced,
Everybody-
similarities, differences.
three different personalities.
Right, yeah.
It's always cracks me up. They have three different personalities.
Yeah.
Look at it from birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In their stomach.
Yeah.
Markel barely kicked and this stuff like that. She gets out, she barely kicked.
Yeah.
Terry Lynn, I thought I was in a battle in my stomach. He gets out, same situation.
Yeah.
And then Kimberly was just whatever, y'all take care of me.
Yeah,
whatever.
from what I know of them, that's a pretty good
No,
description.
that's it. I
Yeah.
carried him. I know
Yeah,
exactly.
you know
I know
exactly.
exactly what that was all
From the
about.
womb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and but that's our foundation.
But I mean, you built that with them. But like you said, they do come out with their own unique blueprint, and then you're just there to kind of grow with them. And like I said, you couldn't ask for more at their age to call and still, listen to.
Like I tell you, I'm thankful my children still talk to me.
Yeah, right.
And that's a blessing. And because I go to church on Kim her church in Texas. I go online.
Yeah.
Every Sunday morning, and she does the service there. And so after
She's actually there.
she does something there for the church services, and we usually talk. Sometimes she's at the same service that I'm at, but other times she's at a different service.
Well, she speaks sometimes.
No, she doesn't speak. She supports that.
Like Friendship Baptist Church, somebody can be online and have a question or a concern.
Oh.
They'll type in that, this and that, and then she'll reply back to it.
Yeah.
And so it's the same similar set. So that's what she does. So she's live at the church itself. So she's just answering the questions as it comes up, whatever. So they're involved in church.
All three of them?
Yeah.
I don't know about Markel and Terry unless they do it online. They have a good foundation. They may look at it online.
I think they do.
My
Everybody has a religious.
Yeah.
I just sort of friendship is stuff, and I've been there over 37 years. So
Yeah. Yours is pretty established.
yeah, and my sister just joined, and my niece just joined. I said, and my other brother, like Miriam and Charlotte, my other brother and sister, they joined. I said, so actually the entire family is
So
here.
you're the middle, right, more because you got the two older brothers
And the younger brother,
Yeah.
the younger
the younger
sister.
brothers.
The younger brother lives up in the Oakland area.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even one brother passed away, so I have the second.
Yeah, Willie.
The second oldest.
Yeah,
The one that grew up with me. He passed away.
Yeah, he's the one that used to coach at Long Beach City.
I remember him.
Yeah. Still messing to this day. It's amazing.
Yes, yeah.
He's the brother I grew up with. I still remember him walking me to school.
Yeah.
Big brother. Huh?
No, he was. He walked me to school, made sure I had all the stuff I needed, and came by and not got me in a car, but just picked me up and, made sure I got home safely and stuff like that. That was his job. Watch out for your little sister.
That's really nice. Yeah.
And he did his job well.
About memories and then talk about relationships, with siblings. That's all. But you have no siblings.
No, but I have no cousins.
Yeah, but so that will be like your siblings.
Well, yeah, because the one Robert, he passed away last November, and we used to sleep toe to face in the bed.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, and then Junior would sleep on the bottom. Alton Junior would sleep on the bottom, and I was, I talked to Junior yesterday, and I said, "Man, do you realize that I've known you for 71 years?" Because I first met them, I didn't even meet them until I was in the third grade. I met them. I was like 8 years old. We went up there for spring break, And I was spent a week up there. And that's what I know. Yeah. And then I was first. I never could figure out how we ended up in Oakland, and I didn't realize that when my dad graduated from high school, he went to San Jose State.
Yeah.
Okay, he's in the Hall of Fame there in track and football, and then he got drafted into World War II. He got drafted. Then,
where did he serve? Italy.
He said it's in North Africa, Italy.
North Africa, Italy.
Yeah.
I was a story. It's always amazing, because track and field for me came out of nowhere because I'm soft. But I decided to try track and field, whatever. They had something called Senior Olympics and and then they had what they called USA Track and Field. And let's see, I call it back. And they had USA Track and Field. Oh, yeah. Let me call you right back, okay?
You did, sure.
It's Markel.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I says, why am I in track and field? Because I didn't have any of that experience in high school, college, or anything like that. But anyway, I did it. And then we happened to go back to, they had a Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And I was just curious. I said, well, what is this all about? Stuff like that. And lo and behold, the people that were there were inducted to the Hall of Fame. One of them was Willie Steele.
Yeah, it was 2010, was it? Yes.
I said, and Willie Steele, and I go, so I knew the USA Track and Field, so I called up the person that wrote the article. I says, "You doing, whatever." I says, "Is Willie Steele?" I says, "Is anybody coming? Any family coming?" And he says, "No, we can't get in touch with family members." I says, "Well, I was married to his only son, and they says, what? We've been looking for you. We've been looking for a connection, because you're going to induct him into the Hall of Fame. You want family around, stuff like that." So I called him up. I says, and he agreed with it. So I called the people back and says, "We'll fly you down there, hook you up in the hotel, give you money."
Where was that at?
It was in Indianapolis.
Yeah, Indianapolis. So they paid for Markel, Terry, and me, and all of us to go because somebody had to.
You went too?
Yeah. Somebody had to receive the plaque.
Yeah.
And so.
What? No, this was 2010.
I think it was 2010.
It's been a little bit of time.
It was just when I first went to not Single Junior, but Harvard Learning Center. It was about 2010.
Yeah, something like that. And so we get up there, and all of a sudden it's like, well, we want, you have to give an acceptance speech. So I thought, it ain't me. So Alvin was going to do the acceptance speech, but he got so emotional. Markel had to come in there and finish it up for her.
Awesome. That's great. That's a good story. Yeah.
And it actually was, because it's like when we were like bumbling idiots, they give us the plane ticket.
Yeah.
So then I was like, well, how are we going to get to the hotel? Whatever. We get off of the plane, walk in the corridor, and there's a sign said "Steele family."
Oh my
Steele
God.
family.
Yeah.
I says, is this Willie Steele's? Willie Steele. I said, that's us. And we're like people out, we didn't know what the heck we were doing. So they gathered us all up and took us to our own hotel rooms and stuff like that, and they picked us up and took us to the ceremony. I mean, they did everything. It was a wonderful experience.
I never knew all that about such a. I mean, I knew that the.
Well, you ever heard about the Hall of Champions, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they called me. My cousin called me, and he said, "Man, you need to come and check on your father's stuff," because what they did was they changed it to over at the baseball stadium. It's over there, and what happened was that they were updating it all the way to, so that Brenda has a gold medal. Pick the pick and use, and you have the track. You have track shoes, don't you?
I have a track shoe. I have one bronze.
One bronze. Yeah. The track shoe that he jumped in the Olympics.
Yeah, they bronze.
So she's got to go. So you got to go. The gold medal ain't a gold medal. Okay.
Not.
No. No.
Not a real gold medal.
No.
It's like the gold medals I get. If you keep them too long, they'll start peeling. His didn't peel though. But
it's disintegrating.
Yeah. Actually, it's pretty good because I could put it in it came in a box. I bought a box. I bought a box for it.
Do you have a jersey?
I have the jerseys
Yeah,
up. I
you
have
have
the
the
jersey, the pick, and the
Yeah,
bronze.
those are
shirt.
you know,
Yeah, yeah.
But but
Nobody wants it but me. So
no, it's just be at your house and you keep of the history. And that's the girls want to see it or whatever. Brenda's got 9,000 medals.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to stop there because that's what we're going to talk about in our next one.
Okay.
Talk about the sports, Brenda's
Okay. That's good.
just getting back from Florida and all her her adventures. So we're going to sign out for 55 and take a short break, and we'll come on back. Everybody, take care. Have a good day. Bye. Those of you that are out there listening, subscribe to our page so that you can get the notifications of when we're going to record again.